Hey everybody, I'm going to tell you how to disassemble and clean your Tippmann A5. So today we have the Tippmann A5 here. And first things first, you're going to take off your barrel. Set that to the side. But also, you're going to need a small Allen key, a very small Allen key, and a big Allen key. So put those off to the side, you're going to need those. And I would recommend a bowl for your screws. Anyway. So first, you're going to pop these two out of all of these pins. Start with the bottom one now, because it is very stubborn. And sometimes you need to take a burnt out CO2 cartridge, just go to town on it. And then just tap it out. Usually it should just fly out the side. You hit it hard enough. So that's what I just did. Anyway. And then you're going to pull if it wants to come out, which it refuses to right now. Oh man, what the hell is wrong with it? Sometimes if you do shake the back, it'll come out like it's starting to eat. There it is. Now you got that little stubborn guy. You slide out the top one, put that in. Now take off your butt plate, or stock in my case. Just slide it out. Now, you get your stock in this piece. Take this piece and put it aside. Put the stock aside. Now, you have all this. Do that, you get a loose piece, put that aside. And now, just proceed to push out pins. Also, I recommend before you try to push out the next pin to save some frustration, take off your cyclone feed system just by doing this. Putting this Allen wrench in the big, only big Allen screw, and just turning it. Slide it out, put it in your bowl. Cyclone feed system pops off, you get some leverage, and push the screw right here by the regulator out. There you go. And now, what you're going to do is just watch. Your E-grip, the grip just pops off. Your regulator just slides on out. Now you're just going to put that over here. Wait for later, because you're going to need that. This gun is a little bit difficult to clean, well, take apart and put back together and remember it all. And it took me 2.5 hours last night on an incorrect video, so I'm going to show you guys how to do it the right way. So up top, start up by the rear sight, pop off that screw, drop it in your bowl, and just take all these screws with your medium-sized Allen wrench. Just take all of them out. And right here in this area, you're going to want to avoid the little clip that holds your regulator. When that screw comes on and you touch it, it's a real pain in the ass to put it back together. It's a little spring, and that thing is super tight when you try to put it back on. So just unscrew, pull it off, put it in your bowl, and just keep doing the same thing down the line. You don't even really need to take your rear sight off unless you pop a ball, or your front sight. If you did pop a ball, then I would recommend it, because you're going to need to totally take off everything. Your cyclone feed system actually has a little screw right there, right here, with a flathead. I'm not going to take that off for the sake of the video because it's pretty damn simple, self-explanatory. Just do that, and it's very simple. Pull it off, the cyclone thing just totally comes off, and then just re-screw it in when you need to. Yeah, my rear sight just popped off because it's loose, but anyway, it fits in here. You just pull that off, drop it in your bowl with your parts, and proceed to undo your front sight hood. There you go. Come on, you little stubborn jackass. Come here. And then now you're going to take off your foregrip. There's a little screw in the front, right there, and you're just going to unscrew. Drop that, and you take your big Allen key now. drop it down inside of this until you hit the Allen screw in here, and then just unscrew it. A couple screws should come right off. Take this out, and the screw looks like that. It's got a little washer on it, you gotta remember that. Now drop that in your parts bucket, and place your foregrip to the side. So when you do this, I also use a little bit of a swab, just to clean the barrel itself. You can wet it and run it down the barrel. That cleans it pretty well usually, and dry it off after you are done. So now, what you're going to do, very, very, very carefully, take this off. Take your front side hood, put it in here, and everything else. Oh, when you do take your foregrip off though, I have to remind everybody that in here, there's a little screw. Not a screw, sorry. There's a little thingy, a nut, that you can screw your screw into for the foregrip. Just remember that that's there, or else your foregrip will not stay properly. So, just carefully lift off the top. If there's any paints in here or anything, you can rub your favorite lubricant. I use Gold Cup. Just rub that on the inside. Keep that nice and lubed up. Usually just a little drop on your finger. Rub it through here, and that's good. So set this aside. And oh, nuts. And you're going to lube up this spring in this piece. Slide that guy on. Put it in your parts bucket. Here is your bolt. Your bolt. Right. Oh, shit. And that was a little piece I was talking about, not to touch. Right here. I freaking hit it with my knuckle. I have no idea. Here's the spring. And I'll show you. You know what? I've already done it. I'm not going to stop the video. I'm going to show you how to fix that if that happens. So if that does happen, these little two things will pop out of here. It's for your regulator. Just put that aside for now. Don't worry about the internals. So with your bolt, you just lift this up, and you got your spring and your guide rod. You put that aside, and right here, remember how this stuff is assembled. You've got this piece like that, and then you got the rod on the top. And then now you just slide it backwards, pop it out. If there's any paints in here, you can just clean it out, lube it up. You got the ball stopper, this little orange thing. You can pop that off. It looks kind of like this. And remember to put it on again, like that. Barrel adapter. This nut for your thing, it just comes off easily. I just like to keep it on so I keep track of it easy. And so while everything is out, I'm going to take the nut off because I don't want that flying around. This little piece of ass right here, you use to put your regulator in. You're going to want to put this in first. Just like, is it this way? A little indent facing towards this way. Now you're going to take your little screw and you'll push. Just push. Okay, that happens a lot actually with this. This is why I said it's a pain in the ass to take care of. If that happens, just take something small, work your screw. You can even take the end of this, pop this piece of junk out. Very, very poor way of putting the regulator in my opinion. Such a pain in the ass. I wish the gun's great. Works great. It's pretty accurate. I'm gonna get a new barrel for it. But wish I had my flathead with me. Oh, there we go. Just pop that out again and reset. But anyway, it's a very accurate, nice gun. Feels good in your hands. Moderate recoil. Pretty damn loud, but it's pretty nice. Fast rate of fire if you have the E grip and you have the adjustable fire rate. Like I have it on burst and it's beautiful. It shoots 15 balls per second on burst. And on turbo, you can get it up more than 15 balls per second. But that's beside the point. You just hold this piece down, you wedge the screw in. So now you've got that. Do not touch it. Take your little clamp thing for your foregrip, put that back in, your little screw. Now you're going to take these parts here, right here, and lube these up, clean them off. If they've got any paint, just drop them in some hot water, dry them off, and put it back together just like this. Like that. and like that. This is a really important part. Now you're going to want to make sure that this piece, that little hole, is lined up perfectly. If not, then your regulator won't slip in and you have to take it apart again. So what you're going to do, okay, not knock your ball stopper off, what you're going to do is slide this up nice and slowly, gently, and then check to make sure it is totally, when I say totally, I mean freaking totally aligned. A little hair off and it's not going to work. So there you go, you have it perfectly aligned. I believe I do. You can always just check after you get the front piece on without any screws. And then you know how it's right, set right, is when this piece is in the barrel adapter and the ball stopper is kind of compressed downwards. Now you're going to take your bolt with your guide rod, put that in, and this is a little tricky because it's got some spring tension, so just be careful and just slide that in like that, and it should look just like this. Now you take this piece that you've already cleaned, you've cleaned both these pieces, and you just pull it on the top. And here's a little check to make sure you're doing it right. You hold this, give it some tension, just rack the bolt a little bit. If you feel any tension, you're good. Means the spring hasn't flipped out, and then just push back in here. If you feel anything move, make sure it's all in spot. Now you'll look through that hole where the regulator came out of, and if it is aligned, you're good to go. You don't have to mess around with it. In this case, I believe it is. I'm just going to tap it. Yep. You know what? I'm pretty sure it is, but just to be safe, I'm going to lift this and just twist it a little bit. Just a little bit, not much. There we go. Just like that. And then make sure your spring is set again on your bolt. Slide the top back on. Clamp, test the spring tension. You got spring tension. Check. Regulator port looks good. Now, this little finicky piece, you're going to take a screw, put it through, so that is not a problem anymore. Now you just fasten that down. I always like to get that down for two reasons. It keeps the little finicky part, pisses me off to fix, from moving, and it's in the middle of the gun, so it kind of holds everything together. And then just do the one to the left of it. And then I'll put the cyclone system back together. Didn't really take it apart this time because there's really no point if you're just going to do some basic maintenance, just lube up your parts. You take this big screw, slide it through here, take your big Allen wrench, get it lined up, and just screw it in until it's tight. Now, you can check again to make sure that regulator area is still in line, which it is in this case. And you can always just check your spring tension again, just tap it, you're good, so you don't have to worry about going back. And you can also do the little bolt action here. Slides forward, comes forward. Now push your components back in, check, make sure it's in line. Good, your bolt works just fine. Now, you're going to take your little screws, put them in the back here, find your rear sight, clip it back where it came from, which is right there. Just when you hear a little click, it's in. So just, come on, there you go, there's one in, nice and snug. Slide a screw in, take your front sight hood, put it right up here, and put a screw through there, and now you're going to fasten it all down, and then I will show you how to put the foregrip back on. Unless you don't want to put the foregrip back on, then you can just skip that step, but I would recommend it highly. It's very nice and ergonomic. But if you don't want to put the foregrip back on, you can always just take this little screw, put it through here. It has the same effect. The only difference is there's nothing in there to help you shoot. It just keeps the gun together better. So now, fasten the last two screws down that you haven't fastened yet. That one's a bit odd. I feel like it's always missing something, but it's not. There we go. Now, you're going to take this last screw and the foregrip. The foregrip just comes in like this to the front, pushes up through the back. Now, take this little screw, and you're going to put it right here. and just fasten that down nice and snug. Remember to keep all these snug, or else your internals in there are just going to be bouncing around. It's really annoying. Yeah, just watch it. Now you're going to take a big screw with the washer, and you're going to tilt your gun upside down, and you're just going to align it with the hole, drop it down. So now it's in. You're just going to take your big Allen key, reach on down there, and just tighten it until, don't go too tight though, just go reasonably tight, and when it doesn't move anymore, there you go. You got that part fastened. And before you put any of the pins back in, if you're paying attention to the disassembly, you have to take your E-grip and you get ready to fasten it. So this is the moment of truth with the regulator. It should just pop right in. If it doesn't, usually you've got an issue, which it did slide right in for me. Sometimes it needs a little persuasion with this little piece, just pull it back, or sometimes it'll just slide right in. And now, you just take your E-grip and you put it on just like that. Now you're going to start putting your pins back together. I like to put this pin in first so my hand doesn't get so tired, just like that. Now you got this one. Slide that through. There we go. And now you're just going to have to hold off for a sec. You're going to have to take your end piece and this guy, which you should have already lubed up, and this guy too, which should have fallen out in the beginning. You lube this up and you look down here. You just slide it in. Rattle it around. It should be set just like that. Now you're going to take this like this, put it in until it gets into the hole, and it should look just like that. Now you take your end cap or your stock or whatever you have back there, and you just get that metal piece lined up, slide it on. I like to put the barrel into your stomach. Remember to make sure this doesn't have any freaking air on it, or anything in the chamber for that matter. You don't want to shoot yourself in the stomach. And proceed to slide those two pins in. Bang. So now you got your Tippmann A5 fully assembled, except for your barrel. And you take your barrel, pretty obvious, just screw it on. Screw it on righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Get that fastened down, do a quick check over. And now, to really test it, what you're going to want to do is take your small Allen wrench and turn your E-grip on. Light turns green, it's on. Rack the bolt, pull the trigger. If you hear this noise, the kind of hollow sound, it sounds like air is trying to come out. That means your internals are going forward and that you assembled it correctly and deassembled it. In this, just push this little right here, make sure your cyclone system is working correctly. It's always the most satisfying sound when you rack that bolt and you pull that trigger, and it makes that noise. That's the sound of approval. So thank you guys for watching, and good luck on your quest to cleaning, disassembling, and reassembling your Tippmann A5. Remember to leave a like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. This is Paintball ABC's out.